Welcome back to Semen Retention. I'm just chilling. Got the aircon on. It's about 30 degrees today, which just means hot in Australian. I've been playing a gig. Just got home, just chilling, kicking back. Been a pretty productive weekend. Thought I'd talk about today mainly synchronicities, and I'm probably going to yap on about some other things as well, just, things that cross my mind in the moment. Synchronicities and or coincidences are basically those things that align two separate things that somehow are connected. So let's use human beings, for example. Let's say that there's some person that lives in New South Wales that's actually, I'll use a better analogy. Someone that lives in Japan visits Melbourne, and someone who lives in Melbourne meets that person coming from Japan, and somehow they have known about what they do by chance. So let's say this Japanese person runs a business, that person who lives in Australia knows about that business that they run, and by chance they've met in person, just through chance. Now the thing is, chance is just probability, and probability is essentially just the likeliness of something happening out of the amount of things that, are within those parameters. So for example, 8 billion people on the planet, the likeliness of meeting that one person from that business is 1 out of 8 billion. But if you account for other things, like maybe the people that won't ever have access to an airplane or be able to fly, won't access all the old people that are about to die, all the young people that can't fly at the moment, then it's going to be a less and less and less. So I would say things aren't coming down to probability. I think when it comes to stuff like semen retention and having a spiritual awakening, celibacy, kundalini, opening your chakras, living in the moment, living in the now, being present, all those things, meditation, activating your third eye, activating your connection to God, to Source, you start to pave highways for these synchronicities and coincidences to finally connect. So if you think about point A here and point B there, when you're in touch with your true nature and your pure self, you are creating those highways, you're connecting the dots together. So today at my gig, it was a synchronicity. So what happened was, some things happened when I was observing social media a couple of weeks ago, and it made me think about someone. And this is someone who I used to teach their kid guitar. I used to teach their son guitar, and it made me think, okay, well, wonder how they're doing. It's interesting because I was thinking about their business, and I was like, oh, I wonder how old the kid is now and all that kind of stuff. And then fast forward 2 weeks, today I play my gig, and then this older couple come in and they're like, oh, hey, are you starting or are you finishing? And I'm like, oh, I'm just finishing now, unfortunately. They're like, oh. And I was like, oh yeah, so you locals? Because I'm going to be playing here again. And they're like, oh, no, we're not locals, we're from New South Wales. And I was like, oh, okay. And then they're like, yeah, we just came to go visit our son who lives in this suburb in Melbourne. And I'm like, oh, wow, I grew up in that suburb. And they're like, oh, yeah, because... and I was like, how old is your son? And they're like, oh, he's 51. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I was just like... And then the guy started talking, then he mentioned something, and I was just like, hang on a second. I taught your grandson guitar. And then they're like, oh, yeah, we thought we recognised you. And I was just like, what are the chances of that happening? Very strange. And what I'm trying to do when I'm on this semen retention journey, or just my kind of spiritual awakening journey, is I'm trying to figure out why these connections are happening. The other day I had a lot of deja vu at one point. I've been having deja vu a few times lately, actually. And also on my way to a gig on Saturday, I was having this long conversation with two of the band members of that band. And I was in the flow, and I was just like, they were like to me at the end of the conversation, they're like, whoa, like, you really made that car trip, like, go fast. You know, that was a really interesting chat. And I was talking about everything. I went into deep. I even touched base on semen retention. And basically what happened was I was like, you know, and when you awaken yourself up, oh my God, it's 5-5 as soon as I said awaken. And then I was like, when you awaken yourself up, you start to see the little synchronicities and the connections in our reality. And as I said that, when we're in the car, we drove past a billboard and it said, awaken your super. And super in Australia is like a retirement fund. So, and I said to them, look out the window. It literally said what I just said. And this is the power of semen retention, is that everything just kind of starts to orbit around you. And I don't mean that in like a attention kind of sense. I mean, it's like your thoughts manifest and feelings manifest into physical incidences or physical moments. So for example, maybe if you think something's kind of just like super cringe, a glass will break around you. Maybe if you're just thinking, I need to relax, someone's going to yawn. Maybe if you're thinking, actually, you know what I've been doing as a singer? I've been doing a lot of humming, just going like this. And what it does is it heals my voice because the vibrations heal my throat, and it also is a good throat chakra cleansing. So what I notice when I do that, and I do it on the trains and everything, I do it in public because I need to take care of my voice. I don't care. I have no shame about sounding weird. I don't care. When you're on SR, you do not give a about what other people think. So I'm just going, every time I do that, and I'm serious, every time I do that, people start clearing their throat. People start coughing. Because what I've done is I've created a bright, powerful energy from my throat. A pure energy from my throat. Like it's like a blue beam that just amplifies and permeates through the atmosphere. And what happens is when people are lying, they have build-ups in their throat chakra. When people aren't honest or telling the truth, or they're wanting to say something, they swallow it and it gets clogged up here. So when I do that, I'm going, and my frequency that I'm making with my voice, it clears people's throats. And there's a lot of other things you can do with your chakras that actually heal other people. They won't know what's going on though. They will have no idea what's going on. So yeah, like that's just one of those things. And I think, yeah, something, maybe it's a celestial thing, something to do with the way that the planets are at the moment, potentially, I don't know. But there seems to be a lot of a higher kind of energy going through at the moment, an intense kind of energy. And yeah, I'll just let you in on my own kind of personal thoughts about some things that are going on in my life. Is that like yeah, I think I mentioned on one of my videos that like there was this girl that like it's always about a girl, for us men. I've been on SR for 11 months now, actually. And yeah, like about 2 months ago, I had a one night stand with a girl. I didn't, release, but it was very natural. It was like we naturally met each other at one of my gigs. She was dancing. She was very beautiful. And yeah, and then I just thought, well, you know what? She's showing a lot of signs of attraction. She seems like a fun person, like a really cool person as well. Like, got to know her. She was very cute and all that kind of stuff. And then, yeah, and then like basically after that, I was just like, I don't want to pursue her because she's from a different country, and I don't know. I feel like people when they come to a different country, they're just kind of living their best lives, so to speak. So I've been thinking about her on and off. And what I noticed is she would manifest into different physical beings in my life, or different objects. So, for example, she talked about this place in Italy called Sardinia, and she said how much she loved it and how she had a tattoo of it and all this kind of stuff. And then I was like, oh, it's really nice. And then a week later, I'm reading a book, and it mentions Sardinia. And I'm like, oh, should I text her? And I'm like, nah, I won't text her. I don't want to do that. And then there's been these other things, like just online. There was this thing where I was like watching this kind of like this heart frequency opener, this like opening your heart kind of frequency meditation, binaural beats, 528 hertz, which is a very interesting frequency, which I'll make another video about, specifically healing frequencies and binaural, frequencies that heal us. So I was watching that video, and it was a live video, had like a live chat on it. And then as soon as I opened it up, I looked at that and I was just like, well, okay, let's have a look at that. And then what I saw was her name in someone's comment, not her full name. I don't know what her full name is, but I saw her first name. Someone had commented being like, oh, I'm looking for my love or something like that. And that was the first name I saw. And I was just like, we're talking about like a Spanish name. I'm from a Western kind of white country, Australia, and it's like not common in Australia. It's not common in UK, US, Canada, etc. And I was like, that was a synchronicity. That was a coincidence. And it's just like, and she still watches everything that I do on social media. She still likes my stuff on social media and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, it's like one of those things where I'm just like, well, like, how long does this need to like pan out for? You know what I mean? So when I was just like there, I was kind of saying to her, I was like, in my mind, I was like, like telepathically, I was like, kind of like, you know what? Maybe things will work at some point. Maybe we were destined to meet because it was organic. We didn't use technology or dating apps or, we didn't know anyone who knew between us. There's no real reason for us to meet. She wasn't meant to be on that, at that gig that day. I wasn't even meant to play that gig that day. It was a last minute kind of thing for both of us, and we both ended up in the same point in time and connected. So that itself is a coincidence because, again, you've got this here, and they connect. Let me show you something from a visual perspective about what a true coincidence is from an art perspective. So I've been learning how to draw just as a little side hobby. My grandma was a great painter, and I'm trying to learn proper techniques, not like oil. I don't know. Maybe oil painting is a technique. It is a technique. But let me show you this, which has to do with what a coincidence is. Okay, so we talk about those two different points. Yeah. All right. So. Let's use an object to look at. All right, so you ready? So we're going to start out by drawing the frame of our reality. There's the frame of our reality. Okay, so just imagine everything has to fit within here. All right, now I'm going to divide the reality so that we have some clear points. And then I'm going to continue to divide it. So now we've got halves. Okay, so a coincidence is something where 2 points meet. So straight away, here's a major coincidence. We've got coincidence here, 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 here. Basically, coincidences are intersections. That's where different parts connect together. So let's create a few more. Okay, now what we can do is, if from a technique kind of standpoint, when it comes to drawing and art, is you want to make a drawing make sense. You want to have things that kind of relate within the synchronistic kind of bounds, within those coincidences. Okay, so I'm going to draw my head. Here, I'm going to draw across here. All right, and I'm going to draw here, and do that, and I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this. So now I'm going to go straight down here, and now I'm going to go here, here, and then I'm going to go here, here, and go straight down there. Okay, so we're creating a more complex arrangement of coincidences. And the whole idea is that when you create this kind of this whole kind of like layout, you start to, when the coincidences all line up, you start to fully manifest what it is you're working towards. So let's manifest something right now. All right, I'll draw one more line here. Okay, here we go. So within these confines, this framework, this grid, you could even call it a matrix. It's not technically a matrix though, but it's like a grid. I'm going to draw a mouth. I'm going to draw, let's draw some ears. let's draw some eyes. Might make another intersection point. Let's draw a nose. Let's draw that little thing. Let's draw a bit of a chin. Let's draw a head. And the head's going to kind of be a bit of a square head. And then from here, we're going to draw a curved line there and a curved line there. Yep, this is a very square head. And then we're going to draw a brow and a brow. Right. Now, when it comes to anything that exists, this is a face. Every single thing that you see here required some sort of intersection in order to lay out. Every single point is a coincidence. Every single one of these things is a coincidence. And within those intersection points, we create the grid for something to exist. So let's say that this is a human being. In order to this human being to exist, the dad had to be born. He had to go here, and then he had to go there, 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 there. And then here is the timeline where he started to meet his significant other. On the other side, you have the significant other meeting here, 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 and then finally she ends up there. So the dad started here, the female started there, she covered all the grounds, she ended up here, he ended up here, and then two worlds collided, and that is when, bang, this monkey was made. So through coincidence, coincidence, meaning cooperated, incidents, or collab, or collaborative incidents. That's what a coincidence is. That's how things exist. That's how you find what it is you're meant to find. And that, my friend, is why we do Stephen retention. Catch you next time.